we will move on to item 6.6, our 9:48.5 a.m. item, consideration of grant funding $50,000 to 1Team 1Dream for their 2024 annual Lake County Business Competition. I want to offer Vice Chair Crandall if you want to make some opening comments.
Yes, I know for this proclamation, or no, I'm sorry, not proclamation, I'm sorry, for this funding, I know that in the past there's been a couple of businesses that are still thriving in regards to this event that's put on and the training that they get. And so it's really, I think it's been a really good asset in the county. So I'm glad that we can bring this here and see how we can help, businesses thrive in the county.
Thank you very much. So I know that this has been going on for longer than we have been supporting this 1Team 1Dream competition that they hold every single year. I believe the first 2 years we were not involved, and after that we were able to change that and be a sponsor. I know that one of the reasons that we became a sponsor is it bothered me when I think I was invited before we were a sponsor to listen in and watch the competition at the end where businesses were awarded their checks to help support their growth in their business. And I didn't want to go by another year without being in support of this. There's definitely risk when it comes to providing support to specific businesses. We don't get to control the markets. We don't get to control the outside sources, things like disasters, COVID, things of the kind. But at the same time, our local businesses are the backbone of our communities. Without repeating exactly what was within the context of the memo, we've had 91 small businesses that have gone through the training, marketing, and dynamic social media campaign. Some of that alone has helped our businesses grow just from the awareness in the public. I'm getting a... What was that number? 91. Sorry, I thought you were saying something about the internet. No, we're not going to have a conversation right now. And so 91 businesses have gotten some help already through this process, and without having to win the competition itself, they get that media awareness to the community that those businesses are here, exist, and provide a service to our community. The winners thus far, there's been 27 local businesses over the past 4 years. 6 are in the city of Clear Lake, 7 are in the city of Lakeport, and 14 have been in the unincorporated areas of Lake County. I know of one business very closely, Lamb Printing. Soon after they received their winnings, which was, I believe, the second year, they doubled their business. And in fact, today, they're working with the city manager from the city of Clear Lake because they need to expand their business even further. They've grown outside of the facility that they're in. Last year, the big winner was Terrell Martial Arts in Middletown. He won, I want to say, at least 2 or 3 awards. He won the People's Favorite Award. He won the overall big award for the expansion of business. And I forget what the third one was, but there was a third one. And I know Terrell Martial Arts very well. My son used to go to Terrell Martial Arts as well. I think that, again, with local businesses being the backbone of our community, any way that we can provide support is a return on investment. Though again, I will say there is a caveat that there is risk. Already within our budget, before even bringing this to the board, there is anticipation for $30,000 to be placed into a grant for 1Team 1Dream. However, the way that I see it, maybe this is not the way the rest of the board will see it, the city of Lakeport grants $10,000 with some in-kind contributions. They allow the use of their buildings and facilities for free. The city of Clear Lake grants $30,000, and it's awkward for me to stay at $30,000 to match what the city of Clear Lake is doing. Hence, in a conversation with Vice Chair Crandall, looking to see if we can go to the $50,000 level in order to really show that the county, who has the largest population, would be able to provide the largest sponsorship of this competition. I want to give some time and space also for Olga Martin Steele, who is one of the co-founders of 1Team 1Dream, and who has been involved for the last 4 years in this competition to speak on any updates and information. And this is also, she was the person who wrote up what is going on with our finalists from last year in 2023, which was also an attachment to the agenda item that you see before you.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I am Olga Martin Steele. I am co-founder and chair of 1Team 1Dream. We are a nonprofit. You did a very good summary of what we've been up to. There are actually some really amazing results coming out of this program. And I want to mention Jitterbean. Jitterbean it's a little coffee house, you drive through. She opened her second store with the funds that she received. She's looking for a third. That's how well she's doing. She's got 20 young people working. These are, young people out of high school, in high school, on their way to college, learning about the business. I want to mention another, Gilligan's Island. They started as a food truck. They tried it over on the North Shore. God bless them. Couldn't make it on the North Shore. They moved to Lakeport. They are doing a fabulous job. They're going to be on America's best restaurants very soon. I think September is when they're going to do that. There's a lot more that comes from this program than the fact that they get money to step up their business or to start a business, whichever the case might be. The training is invaluable. I wish we could give it to everybody. They learn actually how to figure the markets out. They learn out, do they have a niche? Are they likely to succeed? And they learn to do some research that most of them didn't have a clue before they came to us. I guess the other thing I want to say, because I know these I worked for government almost all my life, been in the shoes where you had to make tough budget decisions. I do want to say something, though, about the government nonprofit connections and how important they can be. This is a program to support, to grow, to help, to boost our small businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of rural economies. I think you probably all have read that and know that. But we do it for free. We don't hire consultants. Our board does everything we do ourselves. We take from what we learned when we worked in government or private industry. The other thing I want to say is, and I think that's an advantage. I think that is an advantage. We are talking about economic development. There are many aspects of this program that go beyond the fact that we give money to people. The fact that we could pull in corporate, other businesses, the cities, and the county in to support this program, I think speaks pretty well. Government can't do everything. We all know that. You know it better than anyone. And so we're here to try to fill some of those gaps. So with that, I ask your support for the increase. I want to thank you for supporting us the last 2 years at that $30,000 level. We very much appreciate it. We're going to, our goal, it's not a goal, we're going to do it. We are bound and determined to keep this program going, and we're going to give $150,000 out this year to 8 businesses. I also want to say that on May 31st, the application process closed, 79. 79. That's a big potential for this county out there. We only could pick 20, and we've picked the 20, and they're good ones. We're not announcing them until tomorrow because we're in the process of getting in touch with everybody that it was in the competition this year. So a lot of potential for growth here. I think we bring a lot of value to the county, and I know of no other program that is doing what we're doing in this county. Thank you very much. And if you have questions, I'm standing ready to answer them or try.
I think I'd like to take a 5-minute break before we move on, and I apologize for that. I just want to take a quick 5-minute break when we will continue with the conversation with question and answers, and we will reconvene at 10:05 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We were discussing item 6.6, and we had just heard from Olga Martin-Steele, the co-founder, and we had left it with any questions from the board or comments. Supervisor Green?
Yeah, thank you. I went to last year's competition. I really enjoyed it. It's unique. It's a little Shark Tanky, but it does force people to kind of put their business plans together and really show some creativity and thought. But as Chair Sabatier noted, it is not without risk. Sometimes the businesses that end up getting supported do well. I know there was one on the list that I saw that is currently up for sale. So it's going to be a mixed bag, but isn't that what the free market economy is all about? We're not guaranteeing success. We're really opening doors and pathways for our small businesses to compete. That said, increasing it to 50K kind of raises the idea of maybe freshly examining use of public funds for what could be, construed as less than public purposes. So one way to address that might be because you're a 501c3 organization, and because the county is the county, one thought would be kind of execute a smallish MOU just to clarify roles and responsibilities for that funding. And that's my initial thought there is just a question, not going to put you on the spot for an answer. Obviously, you have a board of directors too. But as we build on this success, I just think there's an opportunity here to clarify roles and responsibilities, and I think an MOU or a contract of sorts might be the way to do that. So that's my comment right now.
And just for clarification, we're not increasing it by 50, we're just increasing it to 50. Just wanted to, in case I misheard you, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Supervisor Pyska.
Yeah, I think this is a great program. I've had a lot of friends go through, and it's really vigorous. They've learned a lot. They've been stretched and pushed into, developing a new skill set. So I think it's great. I'm not okay with increasing the budget. We have $30,000 in the budget. I know we have other marketing and economic development projects coming. We'll likely hear about it next week during budget hearings. I hope we do anyway, a little bit. We also have our CDBG programs that we apply every year for support for small businesses, the loans and the technical support. And so I'm hoping that maybe 1Team 1Dream can help promote those services that we have through CDS and Jeff Lucas, because sometimes they're underutilized. So it'd be a great component to build into the program to make sure that we're reaching all of the business owners. But I cannot in good faith raise this up to $50,000 when we have other services that we're obligated to be providing for our constituents.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments, Supervisor Simon?
No, obviously supported this program right from the beginning. I do like Supervisor Green's comment, if it's going to be an ongoing funding thing that's happening every year, I think we do need to explore, or the board should explore, I won't be here next year to vote on this, but should explore that MOU opportunity, continue to grow through that aspect. Ultimately, obviously, as you said, Dan Tyrell, his business is doing very well down in the city. I've been to Grilligan's Island too. They were they 2 years ago did they win, or they were second?
They applied the second time, the second year, and they actually got in because they didn't the first year.
Okay.
And they won a third place, and they also won what we call the fan favorite, which is something my co-founder and I do, comes out of our pockets. And Grilligan's Island didn't do well on the North Shore, so they moved over into Lake.
Yeah, they're over here now.
Outskirts, and they're doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, and
We learned a
obviously
lot.
supporting economic development has always been something I would, continue attempting to do. So see how the rest of the board goes today, but, I think for this request, I'm probably going to be in favor of doing it this time, but I think the MOU conversation is really important.
I could add, if I might, is it okay
Please.
for me to? We started something last year, so this is our 5th year, so this is like we feel like this is our pivotal year where we've learned a lot, and we're going to take a hard look at what we do in the future. We actually have started working with Jeff Lucas and Nicole Flora to try to, we ask a question in the application about whether or not they have taken advantage of any of the training that's been offered through them or through any other program. But the other thing we've done is, last year, we now require a report at the end of a year, and we look at whether or not they spent the money, and they actually signed an agreement, the way that they said they were going to spend it. And if they don't, then we ask for it back. So that's something that we've done. I don't have a report yet because, other than what I provided just by talking to each one of them recently. But we will actually have a report, and we're still looking at doing a survey that's properly done, that's done with a lot of expertise behind it, to see where we might make improvements. So we're doing that constant, evaluation that you should always do. And the other thing I want to say is that I've been asked about expenses, how do we pay the expenses? Most of the money that we get for major sponsorships, obviously that goes to the awards, but we have event sponsorships. And I will say that we've got a few that have actually increased their sponsorships this year. So far, all that we've gone back to are continuing with the program, so.
Thank you for that. And just to at least discuss, while it's not on there, I think giving consensus to have, to bring back an MOU, I think it's always good to put a relationship in writing when it's a professional relationship, so that we know what roles and responsibilities we have. I know I'm doing similar changes over at PEG TV right now, trying to build an MOU between PEG and the City of Clear Lake, because we have in-kind contribution, but there's no definition of what that means, and so we're getting that defined, and I think this would lead us to a better understanding of what exactly is expected and why it is that we are supporting the competition. So I would love to get a consensus to bring that back at a
Yes.
time sooner than later.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
yes
fine.
for me.
Okay. Any other comments before we open it up for public? All right, let's see if anyone wishes to speak on this item. You've missed 10 votes, so sorry. I see no hands in Zoom and no one getting up in the chamber, so I'll bring it back to the board for further deliberation or action.
Well, I'll just say I would vote on this if it was 30,000, but I can't vote on it for 50,000. And I don't know if I'm the only one that has a problem with this, but, we have hired a deputy CAO to focus entirely on economic development. We have a lot going on, and I think it's really prudent to save funds for those services and programs that we're working on. So I just want to bring that up to the board for more comments on the budget part of this.
Thank you for that comment.
Another comment over here.
Oh, Supervisor Green?
Yeah, and with budget coming up, I think so, and I hope the MOU idea is not seen as oppressive. If anything, I think it's kind of like succession planning. It's basically how does the 501c3 position itself for success in ensuing years? And we want to make sure that not only the contestants are supported, but that the infrastructure is there to keep this competition strong and growing. So I want to put it as kind of a challenge. We're not asking for anything more than we might from a contestant. Show us a budget, show us your growth trends, show us where you see yourselves in 3 to 5 years. So So since we already have consensus to maybe research an MOU, maybe it would be premature to actually act on this request. If we go to budget and we find that budget unit does have money available to bump this up, let's have that discussion. I'm certainly open to that discussion at budget. But to act on it today, short of the MOU we just asked to get drafted and short of the additional budget information, it does seem just a little premature. I don't want to rule it out, but I don't think we should necessarily act on it today.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Carter, you seem to be coming to the microphone. I want to make sure to give you the chance to speak.
Thank you. Stephen Carter, Assistant County Administrative Officer. We can try to get the MOU around the same time as recommended budget, but if it's your board's wish, we can talk about it during Budget Unit 1892's recommended budget presentation, which would be on Friday, the 21st, if it's the wish of the board to talk about it more instead of making a decision today. So we can talk about it more.
Well, I do have a question then about the deadline, because there's going to be a few weeks where we won't have 4 members here to approve that funding request. So
So if it's approved today, it would go into budget and it
Okay.
would go out as of July 1. If during recommended budget, the 20th and 21st, which everybody I believe is going to be here,
Yeah,
if it's decided to go to, because right now it's budgeted at 30, if it's raised to 40 or 50, it's approved as of that day and it goes July 1 live as well. So the decision would either be made on the 20th, 21st, or today, while everybody's here.
so we could approve it for 30 today.
Well, it's already
And
in the
then
budget.
It's already, you're right, so we just approve it
Well,
today.
it's in recommended.
It's in recommended
It's not
budget.
been approved yet.
Right. And then if we had more conversations next week about it, it could be changed.
Yes. And you can also approve 50 and change it. 20th and 21st is the final blessing. I don't know what else to say about
The
that.
final blessing. Nice. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
I think $30,000 is, it's still a lot of money, and I think it will really benefit a lot of the business owners. It's, what we've been working on the last couple of years, and I think it's the right amount for today.
And my personal opinion is $20,000 is not a large amount. The amount of salary savings that we've had historically on carryover balance from year to year, asking $20,000 is not something that we don't have. Our budget is not so tight that $20,000 would be a detriment to us at all. And also, I think that, I think that this has benefits, and I want to continue supporting that. And again, I'd like to stand out that the county has a larger sponsorship than the rest.
So I'll just say, I don't like being put in a position where we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, that's not our responsibility here. We started at $20,000, then we had a $10,000 increase, and now we're up to $50,000. And I would hope that it wouldn't go up again next year. Just because we have the money doesn't mean that this is appropriate to be spending so much on this when we have other services that we can provide to all of our constituents.
Vice Chair Crandall?
I think it does, and the reason I say that is because all of the different businesses that have prospered from this program, so I think it is like a seed planter, if you will, and I do know that we have an economic development representative in administration. I think this is going to work in a more synergistic way. I'm obviously in favor of the 50,000, but I mean, if we need to look at 40,000, I'm fine with that too, as long as we're, the highest amount, because considering we're the county. I hear what you're saying though, about maybe if Clear Lake decides, okay, now let's do 40, and then we get, I get that. I think also but the MOU that we're agreeing on isn't going to help with that as well. So I'm still in favor of the 50, willing to go to 40 if need be. Yeah.
Well, I'll bring up something else I brought up last year, and that's the option of including discretionary funding from supervisors. I'm pretty sure we had this conversation last year because I was uncomfortable going to 30 the last 2 years. And so that is an option. If the county stays at 30 and any supervisor wants to kick in their discretionary, like that's obviously another option too.
Appreciate the comments. Is there any action taken on this?
So I'll motion to approve granting $50,000 to 1Team 1Dream for their 2024 annual business competition. And also with the option to conduct an MOU from here forward.
I'll second that with the MOU added. Thank you, Vice Chair.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No.
No.
Motion carries. And that budget, it will require 4/5 vote, because that's how the budgets are required. And so I think the discussion can continue there again after the fact of this approval. This just requests that staff look to implement 50,000, and then we'll see what that looks like within the budget.
And the only reason why it came up is it's going to be a specialty because the recommended budget's already completed. So it's going to, per this motion, it will have to come up as an adjustment during the hearings.
Thank you very much.